Hi, this is Barry, and welcome to Simplicity Zen. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you could take a moment and hit subscribe or like the video or comment, that helps inform the YouTube algorithm to share this video with other people, so I would appreciate it. If you're watching on any of the various podcast or listening on the various podcast apps, you can go to what's the name of my podcast? simplicityzen.com and sign up for the mailing list there. I appreciate everyone who listens. I enjoy and I also enjoy the feedback from people if you feel like reaching out. Today, my guest is Shinko Andreas Hagn. He is the founder and teacher of Daijihi, a Soto Zen sangha in Viena, Austria. He received jukai by Ryuten Rosenblum Roshi, a successor of Baker Roshi, in 2011. He was then ordained in 2019 by his teacher Hoko Karnegis, who is a senior teacher in the Sanshinji lineage of Okumura Roshi. He's worked as a chaplain to prison inmates and the homeless population. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
Mm-hmm. So you're in Austria right now?
Yes, I'm in Vienna, sitting in my house, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's now
Can you tell us? Oh, so
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is now late afternoon here. You know, we have 9 hours time difference. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's early here, or relatively early. I'm not a morning person, so it's always early before noon for me. But.
Yeah.
Good. So could you tell me a little bit about the Daijihi Soto community you guys have there? Like,
yeah. So
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
This is quite different to the American Zen communities. You know, here in Europe and especially in Austria, Zen is not so popular and also not so established like in US. Yeah, and there are a lot of reasons for this. And one is that Austria is a very small country, and until now, for example, there is no official Soto Zen center registered in Japan here in Austria. Yeah. And one reason is that here in whole Europe, the system is different. Yeah, the Buddhist system is different, and Buddhism is more in a kind of secular, yeah, yeah, and so this is a real different situation to US, yeah. And you know, I was now for 3 months in Bloomington in Sanshinji for my ankle, and I learned how, yeah, I have experienced how different this situation really is. Yeah. And yeah. So it's a different work what we have to do here now, and we have our sangha since a few years. We started in, I think, 2018 or 2019, and then with the pandemic we established Sendo here in our house. It's like in Sanshinji, yeah. So the basement is our Sendo, and all other, yeah, we live with our family, and sangha members can stay here when we start very early in the morning. Yeah. So this is how we try to bring Soto Zen to Europe or to Austria or to Vienna. Yeah.
Yeah. So Austria, how is it would you say it's a secular country, or is there still Catholicism?
No, it's a very Catholic, old Catholic country like Germany. But a lot of people left the churches the last years. So it's a little bit different also to Italy. Yeah. And but it's still very Catholic. Yeah, for sure. And maybe that's one of the reasons. Yeah, because people get very frustrated. Yeah, and devastated, and yeah, a lot of traumas happened here.
People are frustrated with religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and we have, this is also very different to US. I wrote a study a few years ago that in US are more than 70–80% of people believe in something bigger than we are. And here we are around, in Germany, we are around 25–28%. So, yeah. So there's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems Western Europe is much more secular in its viewpoint than America. In America, I think it's like 30 or 40% that actually engages with traditional religion. A lot of that 70% are people who believe in spirits or some vague sense of greater being, or even like tarot magic type stuff. I mean, it's all over the map, but there's definitely more magical thinking. There's no question.
Yeah. I think this is also what comes out of of our history, and maybe also the wars. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Yeah, but but it is different. Yeah. So
your Soto Zen group out there, how often do you guys meet for Zazen?
We meet here in our temple daily, but for public it's 3 times a week. Yeah.
Okay.
2 times in the morning with liturgy, and 1 evening meeting with Zazen and the book discussion. And then we make every 4–6 weeks, we call this practice Sunday. We have a few periods of Zazen, then a talk, then we work together and have discussions afterwards. Yeah.
And do you guys, is your liturgy in, so I'm about to embarrass myself, is Austrian a separate written language than German, or
good question.
I just realized I never realized. I have no idea how this works.
No, it's formally, it's the same language. Yeah. But when you meet a German and an Austrian, they mostly say the only thing what is the difference is our language. So this is
so Austrian is its own language and its own written language, distinct from German.
No, official it's German. Yeah. But is it kind of like Spanish versus Mexican Spanish? They're both Spanish, but they've diverged, or is it not even that? Yeah, in a kind, yes, in a kind, yeah.
So anyway, so would you say, is the liturgy is in Australian or is it in German? Like, what's the proper way to say this? I know I'm embarrassing myself here. I should know this. But.
Please remember, Austria is and Australia are 2 different.
Did I say Australia? Oh my God, I'm triple embarrassed myself.
Yes. It's happened often. Yeah.
I did know the difference of that.
We have stickers with, we have no kangaroos.
Yeah. I bet you guys have one somewhere in a zoo or something. But so anyway, the question I'm trying to get to is your liturgy in English? Is it in German? Is it in Japanese?
It's in Japanese, but we start now also with a German translation. Yeah.
So do you have a German Heart Sutra?
Yes, we have a German Heart Sutra. Yes, and we had it also from my old sangha, from Baker Roshi. He has also German translations, but we have done now our own translation, and it's all a little bit different. Yeah.
And then do you guys do prostrations to an altar? And
yes, we have an altar. We do the formal Soto Zen ceremony, morning ceremony, like we do it in Sanshinji. Maybe you know a little bit about Sanshinji style. Yeah.
I've never encountered any of their sanghas. I know some of their people, but I'm not. I imagine it's fairly vanilla Soto in its.
And it's very simple. Okumura comes out of Daijihi, and emphasizing is Zazen, and then Zazen and Zazen and Zazen, and study and work, sure. But ceremonies are very simple. Yeah. ceremonies are very simple and yeah. And
when you guys do your study groups, are you working from English or German translations, or what
it
material?
depends on the book we have, yeah. But most times, most times we concentrate on books from Okumura Roshi,
Makes sense.
and yeah, and and most of them are in English, yeah. There are now a few German translations, and we are also now working on a translation, yeah, from Opening the Hand of Thoughts, but we are in the start, yeah. So, and most time we do it in English, but last year we had a very interesting reading with 2 versions of the How to Cook Your Life, yeah. And there is a priest who was a disciple from Uchiyama Roshi, yeah, from France. He has also Austrian roots, yeah. He translated into German, and then we compare it with the English translation from Thomas Wright, from How to Cook Your Life. And this was very interesting, how the cultural background forms the translation, yeah. So translations, is always, yeah, a difficult, yeah, thing.
Subjective to some degree.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And yeah, and so now we try most time from example from now we starting a book that will come hopefully out next year. It's a book from Okumura about precepts, and we're working from a draft. And this is, yeah, the roots or the basic of our discussions, yeah. But most time our discussions is more about all Dharma teams, yeah, not about the book. The reading is most of the time, the How to Cook Your Life we read I think more than 1.5 years, and it's a very short book,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in one study group, and it can take us 4 weeks to get through one small chapter because there's so much discussion.
Yeah. Now, and I think this is very important, yeah, to explore the Dharma in a brighter sense, not only what are the words we read, yeah.
So I'm curious about the demographics of your group. Do you have a variety of ages and genders? Is it mostly young people, mostly older people, middle age, everything in between?
No, it depends. It's changing. Yeah, people are moving. Yeah, now here at the moment, a lot of people of our Sangha are moving out of Vienna, and so it depends. It depends, and we have also a lot of students here. So yeah, they come and go. Yeah.
Are people moving out because of cost of living? Is that what's?
Yes, and also about the situation about the out of the pandemic. When you have childrens, and here in Vienna we had unbelievable 5 hard lockdowns. Yeah. Unbelievable. And so when you have children, this was really a hard time, and a lot of young people try to get out of Vienna now. Yeah. And yeah, this is one reason, and the costs are another reason for sure. Prices are increasing. Yeah. But here in Vienna we have also a special situation, because we have housing from it's supported from the Viennese community, yeah. And this is a very special situation also here in Europe. Yeah, but yeah. So it's changing. Yeah, it's changing. But we try, with the pandemic, we had also our discussions in Zoom. But afterwards, we decided to don't do it anymore, because it's so important that people come together and meet bodily. Yeah.
So you guys don't do any Zoom meeting sittings or
yeah, but
discussions?
we will restart it now again. Yeah, we will restart it now again because it's in a way it's very functional. Yeah, and helpful for a lot of people. Yeah, but yeah.
Cool. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how you got into Zen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's helpful to start, kind of when you're a kid, because a lot of times seeds are planted then that kind of manifest later and drive someone to Zen practice. So did you grow up in Vienna?
No, I grew up in a very small village countryside. Yeah, in a part of Austria, Upper Austria, and like you said, my grandmother set the seeds in the Catholic Church. Yeah, I was always with her when I was a small boy, and the old ladies are chanting the rosary in the church. Yeah, so and I felt at this time I felt very blessed. Yeah, it was a wonderful time. Yeah, and but Catholic Church destroyed this all. Yeah, and when I get a teenager. Yeah. And so it need a long time to come back for me, yeah, to come back to my spiritual being, yeah, or to my,
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, the other.
Did you consider yourself an atheist as a teenager?
Yes, for sure. I tried everything. Yeah. Now, at the beginning, as teenager, I was sure in this spiritual world and alternative, and was also a lot of drugs and so on. But more and more, I came into this hedonistic thinking or being in this world, with all the materialistic things. And it was at the beginning of the 80s, 90s, yeah, when I grew up, yeah, and yeah, world is opening for new businesses, and I fall into this,
Yeah. You mentioned drugs. Was there any psychedelic scene in Austria?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, for sure. LSD, it was founded in Switzerland. Yeah.
Right. Sandoz.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yes, I think, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my youth, this was very important, but at one time, it was enough. Yeah. And this new business world is coming over, and the drugs were forbidden, and so only alcohol was here. And Austria is a wine country. We have a lot of wineries here, and very good wineries now. Really very good wineries. And so wine is getting more important, and for sure beer too. Yeah. And so alcohol was getting more and more a problem. Yeah. And at one time I was 45. Yeah. I had to convince that I'm a real hard, strong alcoholic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And so this is how my crisis is starting, My wife said at this moment, so please decide, the alcohol or me. So
wow.
Yeah.
So
this
kind
was
of hit rock
helpful.
bottom in a way.
Yeah, this was very helpful for me. Yeah.
What do you think drove you to drinking?
My old traumas. Yeah. Brought me to drinking, and this culture here, for sure. This culture, yeah. And
but it was a way of self-medicating from childhood trauma.
Yeah,
is that how you would characterize it?
To avoid to see what is really here. Yeah. And this is getting more and more and more. Yeah. Up to I cannot remember what I have done in my. Yeah.
So you were blacking out.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why my wife said, okay, yeah, decide. Yeah. And then, yeah, okay, I made rehab, and And in this phase of my life, I got invited from my brother-in-law to a Buddhist monastery in Black Forest for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
At
He
this
was getting
time,
married there?
yes. I knew that he was sitting in meditation for 1 week, watching
Mm-hmm.
on a white wall, And for me, this was so crazy.
It is crazy.
I thought nothing, about
Yeah.
this, because this was so unbelievable. And so I don't know anything about Zen and about Buddhism. And I stepped in this center and I opened the door. There were only people sitting. They sit a 1 week session.
Mm-hmm.
I opened the door and there something was happening. Something, it was unbelievable. Something is reminding me, to this blissful time with my grandma. So
Okay.
this I know now, At this moment, I recognized nothing, but when I came back from the wedding, I started to meditate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you interact with any monks or practitioners when you were at the
Yes, for
wedding?
sure. For example, for sure. There was Baker Roshi was there, and Paul Rosenblum. So I didn't know Baker Roshi. He after this 1 week session, he looked very destroyed. So with beard and hair, and I thought, oh, they care here for homeless people.
That's funny.
I never told him this. But but we encountered also a little bit the Zen world, the bells and the liturgy at this wedding. Maybe all together is helping me to remind me in this mindset of I had as a child in churches.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, just the vibe of the place kind of awoken some bodhicitta in you. It sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this get very strong because, at this moment I lost all my friends. I lost all my.
Because they were your drinking buddies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They came to me and said, you are not an alcoholic. You are a normal Austrian guy.
Mm-hmm.
But and so all my social background was dropped off.
Right. Yeah. It's very common.
And so I fall into Zen, and there was one situation with Baker Roshi what was very important for me. We talked about identities.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Identifying. Identities.
Okay.
And,
Identity.
identities.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, I lost everything. And he said, wonderful. Good for you. You don't need this.
Did you try Zazen when you were there for the wedding?
Yes, but not only a few minutes.
Okay.
And my first meditation at home was, my brother-in-law recommended to me the book from Eckhart Tolle.
Okay.
Now,
Power of Now or something like that.
Something like this. And there was a lying meditation. And I tried this, and after 5-10 minutes, I jumped up and said, no, this is not me. What I experience here, this has nothing to do with me. But something brought me again. To sit down. And next time I really sat down, and my brother-in-law gave me a contact in Vienna. And the funny thing was, this was an old friend of me. I know from times. And so and this guy picked me up every few days in a week, 3 times a week, in 5 in the morning. And we drove together to Sazen.
To where?
to a center in the middle of the town for Zazen, yeah, and
Oh, for
liturgy.
Zazen. And
Yeah.
was this a like a satellite center of Baker Roshi's lineage?
No, this was from the Austrian Buddhism community, and was Rome. Yeah, so this was not the center from Baker Roshi. I go, I think 1 year later, the first time, and set my first session. Yeah, and a few months later, the second one, and a few months later, the third one. So I really fall into the ocean of the Dharma.
So you were just ripe for it.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I lost everything, and the Dharma can arise. Yeah, and I had a lot of wonderful experiences at this time, also with the people there in this center. And you know, maybe you heard that Baker Roshi has a special feeling for properties, yeah, to find the right places for centers. Yeah,
he's amazing in that way.
Yeah, for the Sahara and green card, and also this center in Black Forest. Yeah, but yeah, so I
do you know Nicole Baden? I already forgot how to pronounce it.
Yes, I know her. Yeah.
I just interviewed her. She's a teacher there at Baker Roshi's.
Yeah. I know her. You know, I have like a lot of other people my own story with Baker Roshi. Yeah, because I started very quickly. I want to give this what I experienced, to other people's. Yeah. Back to other people's, and I tried to do mindfulness in schools with children, but this doesn't really work out. And there was one time I got a call from the Austrian Buddhism community. They said, we are starting a prison chaplaincy group. Maybe you are interested. And I went there, yeah. And at this moment, and from this time I worked in prisons. And we started a few groups, and we started to get networking with German practitioners, and we started a group for prison chaplaincy, because chaplaincy here in Buddhist chaplaincy is not very developed. Also now, and at this time we were only a few people. And so a lot of things happened, and my practice developed in this direction. I encountered this as a very special practice container for me. Yeah, to bring, this was always a problem for me, to bring this feeling or this kind of being in the world into my all-day life. Yeah, because I'm a businessman too. I have a family. I have 2 daughters. So yeah, I need to earn money. Yeah, and at the beginning, these were 2 worlds. Yeah, but with the chaplaincy work, yeah, I brought more and more my practice into my daily life. Yeah, you are standing with a security man in the elevator. Yeah, and you can practice. Yeah, you can open this container more than in a normal all-day life situation. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I tried to explain this way of practice more in our new sangha book. Maybe I can show. I don't have it here upstairs. Yeah.
If you could send me a link, I'll add it to the description.
Yeah. Okay.
Of the video.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. And
So quick question. Sorry. So did you have to do any formal chaplaincy training?
No. There, in Austria is deciding every religion is deciding who is possible to do chaplaincy work. Yeah. And here we in our Buddhism community, we don't have any courses or classes, yeah, at the moment. Still, it's not, yeah. So, but I had a lot of supervision and a lot of good advices, especially from my Catholic and other religion friends. They do this for a lot of more years than we do this. So yeah, so I fall in, and it's you know, it's depending on my karma to that I feel very well in this kind of hard guys, yeah, working with these hard guys, yeah. So, and yeah, you have
so Rosenblum Roshi was your jukai preceptor. Does that mean he was more your teacher than Baker Roshi was?
Yes, he was for me, he was the heart opener. Yeah. He's a very hard-minded, wonderful guy. Yeah. And
can you talk a little bit how you got involved with Baker Roshi's organization? And so you did a lot of sessions there.
You know, they most time or always they have a 7-day session, so it's not so easy. It's really tough thing. Yeah, it's different to the sessions we do now in Sanshin. You know, they are in Sanshin style, is Daijihi, and this means like Okumura Roshi always said, sessions without toys. There is only sitting, 14 periods a day, 50 minutes. 50
Wow.
minutes. Yes, this is really hard stuff. And but also the 7-day sessions from the Baker Roshi sangha are really tough, because you know you cannot escape after 3 days. 3 days session, it's wonderful. 4 days, 5 days, but 7 days, you know, you know, there is this kind of feeling that you cannot really escape, and this Baker Roshi emphasized a lot, and he's in a way a real good teacher. I learned a lot from him, but I got in trouble, because I tried to, or I brought one time, I brought an ex-inmate to the center. I talked with the vice abbot, and he said, "There's no problem. I need carpenter workers," and this guy was really very well experienced in carpenter work, and so this guy worked very well. But nobody really knows about him, and we keep this very secret that he comes out of the prison, and so so, and the situation was not clear, and Baker Roshi was not happy about this, and also Nicole Baden, and so they start to talk with me, and in this talk, I experienced this kind of feeling. What do you want to say to me? You know, you are a Zen teacher, and we always talking about boundless compassion. And then here we can practice this, and then you want separate. You know, there was this kind of separating this monastic world from the normal all-day world, and this is okay, but for me this was a kind of this was a gap what opens, for me, and so I tried to find out how can I really bring this more into my practice, and bring this daily life and practice life together. And one time I was invited from a Dharma friend. We, out of this prison group, out of this prison network, we built it in Germany, and she invited me for a jukai, to be the doan at the jukai. And her teacher was also there. This was Baker Roshi. a successor from Okumura Roshi, and she was a chaplaincy. She worked as chaplain in a hospital in Florida. So, and I met her, and in this moment, it was clear she is my new teacher, because she understands this feeling of this special way of giving back. You know, there are a lot of ways to give something, yeah, in our bodhisattva life, yeah. But this chaplain work is a very special way of doing this, yeah. And she understands this completely, and she can give me, she gives me a lot of advices, yeah. But she was very sick, yeah. From the beginning, I met her. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she died very quickly. This was funny. She was from.
Was she based in Europe or based in United States?
She was based in this in Florida, in Miami. But in former times, she was also in Europe, starting together Zen with Daijihi groups. So she was very experienced. Yeah, and then she changed also to Okumura Roshi. And yeah, and she was funny because she was originally from Venezuela, and there was this South American temperament in her. Yeah, so we had a very funny time and a very intense time together. Yeah, and yeah.
And how did you meet your next teacher in the Okumura lineage?
Yeah, so so we started to plan my ordination, but she is getting more and more sick, and then it was clear that she will not recover anymore. So it was at the hospice. Yeah, I think it was one of her last energies. She sent out a video to her students and to Hoko, that she should take her students. And like Hoko is, she said, okay, when Kaike said, yeah, okay, I do it. Yeah. So we had a few discussions, yeah, on Zoom, and then yeah, it was clear Hoko is getting my new teacher, and this was the best decision. You know, Dharma is doing very well. Yeah.
Did what were your touch points with Hoko? So she lived in the United States. You lived in Austria.
Yeah,
Would you guys meet on Skype or Zoom, or how would you?
On Zoom. We met on Zoom, and we met after personally. Yeah, and yeah, and we, you know, Hoko is very experienced in communication. Yeah, and so we have a very wonderful thing up to now. She's doing this with her Daishis, her experienced students. Every month we have a meeting. Yeah, with a clear, tough schedule. Yeah, and this is also a peer group, but every month we have a theme. For example, it's about Kinhin. Yeah, or the 24 key terms of Soto Shu, or and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, and so yeah, this works very well also from the distance. Yeah, but you know, now I was there 4 times, I think. Yeah, 4 times. Also for Gensues, you know, maybe this kind of study
session.
Yeah, study session with Okumura. We had now in May, we had our last one with him, but he will change the format, and maybe in autumn he will start again with a new kind of teaching Dogen. Yeah, and yeah.
Did you have any one-on-one dokusans with your Okumura lineage teachers, or is it more group functionality?
Most time it is group, but when I need dokusan, yeah, Hoko has always time. Yeah. So we don't have, you know, we don't have these classic sessions where we have the formal dokusan thing, but there is always open heart or open mind for discussing something, what is important, and yeah.
How
And
about how about in the kind of the technical aspects of being a priest? Were you pretty like, being a priest as a Soto priest involves a lot of, learning how to be doshi, learning all the Doan traditions, learning the liturgy, and so forth, like that kind of technical training. How have you done that at a distance?
I had a lot of training before in the sangha of Baker Roshi, for sure, in the very special Baker Roshi style, but now we had with visits from Hoko training, and also now after my Shuso Ango,
Oh, you were Shusho at the Ango?
Yeah. So it was this spring, so I recently come back 1 week ago, like I told. So and there I had a very tough training. And for sure, I'm now on the way to figure out how I can go to Japan, and how many times, and so on and so on. This
for
is
an Ango or what?
for Ango, for official in a Zenmon Soto, for my official, to get my official credentials for getting a Kyoshi.
So you wouldn't get those credentials from Okumura's monastery? That doesn't count.
No, I got the, I had a few weeks ago, I had my Hosenshiki, and maybe Konshin Godwin was my Chosheki, and it was a wonderful ceremony. So this is what the temple from Okumura can give me, but there are no official Zenmon Sotos out of Japan. This is a very difficult especially for us in Europe too, because my wife and a sangha member, my sangha friend, Kuryo Susan, they are ordained since March too, and we don't have possibilities for official Sotoshu training here in Europe too, and in America too. So we have to go to Japan, and in Japan there are only 2 temples now for foreigners open.
Which one are you looking at going to?
I don't know, Toshoji or Kodaiji. Kodaiji has the reason there is also a guy from Switzerland. And they also speak German there, but I don't know. There,
So in your Dharma combat ceremony, was it live questions, or were you guys going on a script?
No, Okumura. No, live. It must be live. Must be live, and we had a group. The center was full. I think around 30 people, and then also on Zoom. It was open, but it was a lot of fun.
Did people rake you over the coals at all? That's an American idiom. I don't know if.
No, it works very well. It works very well for me, and
And so you're on go there. What is the daily schedule like? Can you like non-sesshin, an on-go day? Could you walk people through, like you wake up and kind of just walk people through the whole day?
Wake up. So wake up at 4:30 every day. Because as Shuso, I had to open the sendo, with kendo.
Would you run and ring the bell too? Was that your job? Or was that
no, we don't have.
You don't have the bell.
No, the dormitory was a building near another building, so without bells. And but every day I walked to the center at 5 o'clock. I opened the sendo, made my bows, made my round. And then we had 2 periods of sasen, 50 minutes.
50 minutes,
50 minutes in Sanshin, always 50 minutes, with 10 minutes kinhin. Afterwards, we had liturgy, 1 day in English, 1 day in Japanese. Very simple, like Sanshin always, Hatsutra and Daishin Dharani. And afterwards we had soji.
Like
So
temple cleaning.
yeah, and shuso, I cleaned the toilets, bathrooms. Yeah, every day we had 4. So yeah, and then we had breakfast together in the dormitory.
Did you do oryoki breakfast or more like
One day a week. One day a week we have done. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then afterwards we had 1 hour study. Yeah, from 9 to 10. So breakfast from 8 to 9 and 9 to 10 study. And from 10 to 12, we had work period. So we had a lot to do for rebuilding and renovating the temple building for the stepping down and stepping up ceremonies.
Mhm.
And at 12, we had lunch. So we had also every day the cook is changing from the residentials. We were together 3 residentials at this time. And from 1 to 4:30, we had another work period. Yeah. Then we had 2 hours private time. So, for all stuff, what you have to do. Yeah.
Like laundry or whatever.
Laundry, going to buy something special, get a new SIM card, or there are always something you need, and or preparing the Dharma talks. Yeah, because one very important and challenging part of the Ango was that as Shuso, I had to give every Sunday a Dharma talk. Yeah.
In
About
English.
1 hour in English. And the really special thing is in front of Okumura Roshi.
Nice. No pressure.
No pressure. And he's really, the only thing he said was, thank you for your Dharma talk. So, but yeah, only, that he sits there. And so, preparing the Dharma talks. And then from 6 to from 5:30 to 6:30 we had dinner, and after dinner another 50-minute period zazen up to 7:20, and then free time starting until you have to go to bed. But when you wake up at 4:30, so yeah.
Would anyone continue sitting for the free time? Was that
Pardon?
ever a thing? Did anybody do any like nighttime sitting, like sitting during their free time in the evening? Zazen?
No, because we had always retreats. At the beginning we had the sewing retreat for the precepts. We joined. Then 2 weeks later we had the Gensui. Yeah. And this was for us as residential very hard work, because we had to prepare the meals. Yeah. And then we had 5-day session. This 5-day session was very difficult for me, because we had the beginning of May, there was the 100th anniversary of Soto North America. Yeah, and I went there together with Okumura Roshi.
Oh, you went to Los Angeles for that?
Yes, it was amazing to experience this great 700-year Kensai, Keisan Chokinding. Yeah. It was wonderful, and it was wonderful to meet so many Sotoshu teachers in one place, from all around US, and also from other places, South America, Hawaii. So it was a very wonderful time. But when we came back from LA, next day the session starts. And we had 3 hours time difference, so I don't wake up session at 3:30. So in my mind it was half an hour after midnight.
Right. Yeah.
So this was really a tough thing. Yeah.
So could you've already talked about the amount of hours of zazen or session. Could you walk someone through a typical session day at the monastery there?
A typical session day, yeah, I don't know if I should really talk about, because everybody should experience this by his own, yeah, because
Okay.
you cannot really, it's like in every session, it's a kind of opening yourself for the schedule, yeah,
Mhm.
and to open your resistance, your own resistances, yeah, and
Mhm.
for 50 minutes, yeah, 14 periods, yeah, it's a great opening. It's a
Yeah.
great opening, but it's also a great Dharma gate, yeah,
Are
yeah.
there Dharma talks every day?
No, there is nothing.
Is
There
so
is
is the
only sitting, eating, sleeping. Yeah,
no service?
no ceremonies, no doksan, nothing. There are in the morning, yeah, 2 periods starting at 4, and afterwards is breakfast.
Mhm.
So you go out of the sendo, yeah, and step into the kitchen, yeah. You
So no
bow,
orioki.
no orioki, yeah. Uh, you bow, you take your food, sit down, yeah, very formal, yeah, and eating your meal. Then you wash your dishes, yeah. Then you have around 20, 30 minutes for private things you have to do, bathroom and so on. And then it starts again. And then you have 5 periods, yeah, 5
Mhm.
periods through up to the lunch. Then you have lunch, and then in afternoon you have another 5 periods, and then you have dinner, and then you have another 2 periods, yeah, and then
Mhm.
you are cooked,
Yeah.
boiled.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Mm.
great. When you go to Japan um, for your ongos, do you have to do one or two to get officially credentialed as a?
Now we have to figure this out. We are at the moment. I'm a little bit in discussion, because the thing is that Sotoshu is very strict on academic credentials.
Mhm.
So, and I'm school dropped off, yeah, dropped
School
out.
dropout.
Yeah, school dropout. I'm also a university dropout. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm in a second education way. I start to study architecture, but
Mhm.
after 6 semesters, I recognize this is not the right thing for me. So, yeah, I start to work, yeah, in architectural offices. Yeah, but there are rules, and you need credentials. You need testimonials. So yeah, so
Yeah,
we have to
they
figure out,
require more
yeah,
monastery time if you have less
yeah.
higher education. I
The
think I've seen the
system is,
table.
yeah, the
Yeah.
system is made for 18, 20-year-old monks from Japan. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they're in their family is a monastery, and they go to Kawasara University. Yeah,
Mhm.
and do their bachelor, and then they make their angos. Then they are doing their angos, and yeah. But we Westerners are always a little bit older. I'm nearly
Mhm.
60. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I built up 4 companies in my life. Yeah, very successful. I have a lot of experience in managing and communications, team buildings, and so on and so on and so on. But this does not really count. So
Mhm. It,
so
is Hoko, is she formally sanctioned by the Sotoshu, or
yeah, for
because
sure. Yeah, for sure.
I
She
know Okumura is given Dharma transmission that is
yeah.
not sanctioned by Sotoshu, so it's like that is a path
Yeah,
presumably through
Okumura,
that
Okumura
organization.
is very open. It's very
Mhm.
open, because Okumura and Sotoshu. This is very funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very funny, because he is one of the. I experienced this in LA. He's one of the most important guys in Sotoshu. Yeah, and
Mhm.
he is respected, unbelievable. Yeah,
Mhm.
and and but these formal things are not his his way,
Yeah.
you know.
So I have to ask, given that has pathways to being a teacher that don't involve formal Sotoshu sanction, what is your motivation to do that?
My motivation, my good question. Yeah, my motivation is for sure. I want to really get known to this practice in Japan, in a Japanese monastery. You know, get this feeling. Yeah, to get this feeling, what comes out of this tough old tradition. Yeah. I think this is my inspiration to do this. Yeah, not, you know, my thinking now more is that when I really have to do 4 angles, yeah, this means 4 times Japan. This is a lot of money and it's a lot of time. You know, I'm nearly 60. I have 2 children. My oldest daughter made me to grandfather a year ago. So I have a grandson. My youngest daughter is still studying. Yeah, you know, I have to run my business and so on and so on. And so 4 times it's really a lot. And my sangha friend here, Koryo Zen, she has this academic degree. She only needs 2 angles. So maybe she should do this official Sotoshu thing, you know? Yeah, because, you know, this is with the Sotoshu, it's full, yeah. Institutional churches, yeah, institutional religion, yeah. It's but without Sotoshu, I never had this possibility to get known of Dogen Senshi or Keizan, and so on and so on, yeah. So we need it. In a way, you know, this is a very paradox thing. Yeah, in a way, I believe that we need these frameworks. Yeah, but in the other way, yeah, you know, this is not my style and not my practice. You know, my practice is my own thing. Yeah, and to spread the Dharma into people they are unliked or nobody will love it anymore, yeah, like prisoners or homeless or anybody else, yeah. This is what I want to do, yeah. This is my way of being in this Dharma world, yeah. And it makes me very happy to do this always, yeah. It's and but in another way, we need these frameworks, you know, we need institutions. We are human beings, yeah. And maybe you know a lot of stories from Sotoshu and how this really works. So, yeah. But I met in Los Angeles so many wonderful teachers, yeah. And I made a lot of a lot of new friends, yeah. They have the same experiences like I have, yeah. They, for them, opened the Dharma world, yeah, into a new kind of being in this world, and yeah, and without all this stuff we don't have, yeah.
Makes sense.
I never had experienced this, yeah.
Okay, so to kind of sum up to end our interview here, I'd like to ask you a question. Let's say you're sitting at the park doing whatever people do in Austria, you know, feeding kangaroos or whatever. And you get talking to someone and you mention like, oh, I'm into Zen. And they go, oh, well, why, you know, should I, you know, what could I get out of Zen? What would you know, why would I want to do this practice? What would you answer to them?
It always depends, you know, who is asking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, someone who doesn't really know a lot about Buddhism, or let's say doesn't really know anything about Buddhism, but some reason is kind of caught by your presence or whatever, and they're interested, and they, you know, and like, you know, what's the purpose of this practice? What would be your answer for them?
Maybe I will say, I will show you. Yeah. Visit us. Yeah. Visit us one time, yeah, for a Dharma talk or for introduction, yeah. Yeah. So most time I have a card of our sangha, or I have small pictures from Chiso, or Avalokiteshvara with some information on the backside.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it always depends on the person I met. It's I'm really experienced in involving people. Yeah,
Networking. Yeah.
comes out of my prison work, and yeah. So yeah.
Well, wonderful. I really appreciate your time in the interview.
Thank you.
If somebody wants to reach
Yeah.
out to you, is the best way through your Sangha website?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I will do Insta post, and yeah, and so on. Yeah.
Okay, and Facebook. We actually connected through Facebook, so someone can reach you that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe you can send a link by email. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, we are not so really in Facebook. Yeah. And yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.